Do you want more control over what you feel and the emotions that you create? By the end of this video, you'll have the power to control your emotions and a strategy to help you change your emotional state. Hey everybody, it's Michael A. Benton here, your certified life coach, helping men take control of their lives and achieve their desires. Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a video every Tuesday. As a coach, I see how people react to situations and circumstances differently. Yet they all say the same thing. How can I control the emotions that I live in and not react to the circumstances? I share with them a new way of thinking and teach them how to understand the 3 factors that influence their emotional state. And now I'm going to do the same for you. All right, so whatever you feel, you're feeling it not because you have to, but because you've made a choice to. Now, I know this can be a very hard concept to understand considering how long you've actually, had these habits. Not to mention, this isn't something that your parents were teaching you, let alone society for that matter, but whatever you feel is a choice. All right, so let's break down 2 ways people process the way they think. Now, the first one is typically the mindset of most people. Okay, so currently you've been thinking like this. Something external happens, and then subconsciously you create the emotion that's actually tied to the event, which then results to you taking action on the event or based on the event, which then ultimately leads to some type of result, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say that the external circumstance is you getting fired, right? So, okay, you get fired. What you do is you have a reaction, an emotional reaction to the event, which was getting fired. And we know that when you get fired, obviously that creates sadness, anger, maybe confusion. And then once you have that feeling, because you automatically tie it to getting fired, right? That then creates an emotion. And the emotion obviously is the physicalness of your feeling. So when you're feeling sad and confused and angry, typically your shoulders are probably, they're probably dropped, they're probably forward. Maybe your head is down, your face is frowned, right? You got the 3 little squiggly lines in your forehead, right? Because you're kind of frowning and you're grinning. Maybe your teeth are clenched, your jaw is locked, right? These are all, this is the emotion that you create based off of your feelings. And so this is how majority of the people think. This is how they process external circumstances, things that happen to them. Again, they rationalize or they tie the emotion, their feeling to the particular event. If the tables were turned and you had got a raise, right? We probably associate having a raise with feeling great, feeling good, right? Feeling positive, feeling optimistic because there could be more to come, right? And the emotion that is created from your feelings is, maybe your shoulders are back, right? They're pinned back, your head's up, you're smiling, you're probably doing a lot of hand gestures, things of that nature. You're laughing. So you're creating an emotion based off of the event that you're experiencing. And that's how currently majority of people are thinking. However, there's a better model. There's a better way to process the way you think and to have better control over the emotions that you feel or the emotions that you create. And this is what I think a majority of people should be, how they should be processing their thoughts and the way they think when it comes to situations and circumstances. All right, so let's say we have the same external circumstance, which is someone you get fired. You get fired, that is something that you visually see with your eyes or you hear, right, through audio. You then have a thought, okay? So you have the external circumstance, okay? You then have thought, right? And this is the most important part. This is the key because this is where people skip or they miss this part because they're so used to running like a computer, right? The subconscious kicks in automatically when something happens, right? So they automatically go to a feeling or an emotion. But when you're consciously aware of what's happening to you or what's going around you, you have an external circumstance, which is you getting fired. You then automatically have a thought. Your thought is tied to, okay, what just happened? The thought is where you create the emotion. And then from the emotion, you take action on that, which then results in a result of that action. So in the second model, your experiences dictate the emotion that you display, right? Or the way that you feel about that particular incident, circumstance, situation. And like I said before, you associate getting a raise with, right, being happy and optimistic and something positive, whereas you associate being fired as something that's negative and that's happening to you. So the key difference between the first model that I described and the second one is that you need to be consciously aware of how you're wanting to feel when a certain situation or circumstance arises. So in the first model, as I stated before, there is no thought. Your subconscious, something happens to you, your subconscious kicks in, boom, and you tie your emotion to that circumstance, okay? The second model is when a circumstance happens, you have a thought about that circumstance, and you choose at that point, you create the emotion or the feelings that you want to have based on that circumstance. So the key to understand is that when you have a negative event, it's not the event that makes it positive or negative. It's your interpretation or your thoughts of the event that makes it negative or positive. All right, so let's break down that second model for you, because I know some of you are probably thinking like, you know, if a family member dies or something really bad happens to me, you know, I can't control my emotions. I can't control how I'm going to feel, because more than likely I'm going to feel like crap. I'm going to feel, you know, scared and afraid and pissed off and whatever the case. And that's, I totally understand that. I'm not saying that certain circumstances that happen to you, you're not going to have a subconscious reaction, right? Because again, your mind is programmed, right? You program your mind to tie certain instances, certain situations to certain feelings or emotions. However, what I am telling you is that you have a choice in what you feel and how you and what emotion you create from that event. Okay, it's not just something happens to you, you have to think this way, or you have to feel this way, or you have to have this type of emotion. The choice is what I'm saying to you is that you all have a choice. So let's get past the events about, you know, someone close to you dying, because clearly that's going to bring up emotions, you know, sadness and crying and things like that, and that's healthy. Like we're not saying that you need to avoid those. But what I'm saying is, in the events that you don't want to overreact, or you don't want to display a certain emotion or have a type of feeling, I'm telling you that you have the power within you to decide what it is that you want and what it is that you want to feel. So that's what we're talking about. All right. So let me break down that second model again for you, and I'll give you an example. You got fired, right? And so you either hear it or you see it that you got fired. You then have a thought to that. Now your initial thought could be, why me? You know, I'm cursed. This always happens to me. My boss is out to get me. They never liked me. I knew this was going to happen. You know, you can have all these type of negative thoughts. Or you could say something to the other effect, because this may have been a stepping stone for you, right? So you get fired. Your then initial thought could be, you know what? I've actually been thinking about wanting to run my own business for the longest time. I just never knew when the right opportunity was. This may be that right opportunity. Okay, that's one way that you could think of it, if you choose to. Okay, another reason you could have that particular thought, or have different thoughts other than your initial thoughts, is, you know, things weren't really working out the way I had initially planned when I first got hired on. The company wasn't moving in the direction that I thought I wanted it to, or that I thought seemed fit. Now this is an opportunity for me to move to a company that is more aligned with what I value and my mission and all of that. Okay, and then from there, the thoughts that you have about that event then create your feeling and your emotion. So if you're thinking positive about the negative outcome, then you're going to still be happy and joyful, optimistic. You know, your emotional state, your physiology is still going to be, you know, shoulders up, shoulders pinned back, head forward. You know, you're not going to have those lines in your forehead. You're going to be smiling. You're going to be, just like I said, more joyful, right? And that's a choice that you can make. And so that's the difference between the first model and the second model. The first model, there is no choice. I got fired. Shit, why me? My boss hates me, or this always happens to me. I'll never be able to find another job again. No one is ever going to hire me again. I don't have the qualities, or I didn't have the skill. That's why I got fired. I didn't have enough time to show them that I could do it. All these negative thoughts. And then you start to go into the feelings and the emotions of that negative thought. Now you're feeling depressed, and you're sad, and you're angry, you're pissed off. Your shoulders are dropped, your head's maybe down. Maybe you're rubbing your face. You're confused. And then your whole day, and then you repeat that. And as I talked about earlier, where after you create the emotion, you then take action on that. So what is your action when you have a negative response to something? What is the action that you normally take? You more likely in a negative response, you probably don't take any action, right? So you get fired, you go home, you sit on your couch, you watch a little TV, maybe you binge eat some ice cream, or you go drinking, try to drink your problems away, or you sit in silence. Maybe you pour your heart out to a family member or a friend, and then what is the results from that? You're not looking for a new job right away, right? You're not getting back in the saddle. You're not being productive. You're not doing the things that you should be doing, which is getting back out there and taking advantage of the opportunity that you've been given to strive for something greater, do something different, go after what it is that you said you have always wanted to do, right? So it's the way that we process these circumstances, which is going to allow us to create the feelings and the emotions that we want to have. And that's what I'm trying to share with you guys today, is that you guys definitely have the power to do that within yourselves. And it's going to take a very conscious awareness of yourself to be able to break down your circumstances or the situations that happen, and then have a thought about them, and then from there create the feelings and the emotions that you want to have. Okay, so model 2 is the one that we want to incorporate in our lives moving forward. That way we can be in complete and total control over our emotions. And keep in mind too, a great question to ask yourself is when you have these negative emotions, ask yourself, where's this negative thoughts, negative emotions going to lead me? More than likely, it's going to lead you right back to having more negative thoughts and more negative emotions. It's just a cycle. So if you want to break the cycle, then you need to get yourself out of thinking negatively and really take control of the thoughts that you have. I personally make the conscious effort to be more in control of my emotions, because for me, I don't want to not be in control. It's just, I felt for so long that I wasn't in control in a lot of areas of my life. And now that I'm on this path, this journey to better myself, one thing that I wanted to have complete control over was how I thought, because I know how powerful thoughts are. I know what thoughts can create within one's life. And so that's why I choose to think the way I want to think. And I urge you guys to make the choice and understand why is it that you want to think the way you want to think. Because again, it all kind of reverts back to your why. And, if you understand that, when you encounter another experience like that again, you'll kind of slow yourself down and think, okay, you know what? I told myself I don't want to react like this, so let me take a different direction. Let me think about this circumstance before I overreact, or before I do something that I don't want to do, or say something that I don't want to say. So you guys owe it to yourselves to do that, to slow down and think about what it is that you want to feel and to express. All right, so comment below and tell me, what is one emotion that you want to experience more of? All right, so now I want to share with you 3 factors that will help you influence your emotional state. Okay, so when you feel when you're in an emotional state that you don't want to be in, and you feel like you can't get out of it, it's just normal, this is what's happened. That's not true. Once you understand the 3 factors to changing your emotional state, you can take control whenever, right? So let me give you an example. So, when I have a client that comes to me and says that, hey, Mike, I feel depressed because of whatever reasons, right? They're not clinically depressed, but they've told themselves that, they're depressed, right? And that they're going through depression. And so here's a strategy that I share with them, that I'm going to share with you guys, that will help them take control over their emotional state just by understanding these 3 factors, okay? So first, let me explain. There are 3 influential factors to changing your emotional state. Number 1 is your physiology, okay? Your body language, right? The way you position your body, okay? So when someone is depressed, if you've ever been depressed, you can answer this for yourself, or if you know someone that is depressed, they typically, will have their shoulders down, they'll be pinned forward, they'll have that arch in their back, they may put their head down. Some people will rub their face, it really just depends. I've had a client, Brian, who says that when he gets depressed, his jaw clenches, his hands tighten up, so it really just depends on how you get depressed, right? Or as far as what your body looks like when you get depressed. But your physiology is huge, is actually the most important factor of the 3. Okay, so that's one influential factor of changing your emotional state. The other is your language. What are you telling yourself? What are you saying to yourself? Are you saying that, I can't, I won't, I'll never be able to pass this test, I'm never good enough to make the swim team, I'm never smart enough to open up my own business, I'll never will this, I won't be able to do this until I don't have enough. Whatever your language that you're saying to yourself, we need to change that. Okay, that's the second influential factor of changing your emotional state. Your last factor is your focus. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on something that's happened in the past? Are you focusing something on that's happened in the present? That's right in front of you? Are you focusing on something that's happened to you? What are you putting your focus on? And if you can understand these 3 simple topics, right? These 3 simple factors, and when you find yourself in an emotional state that you don't want to be in, these are the 3 factors that you're going to change right on the spot, and it's going to get you, I guarantee you, it's going to change your emotional state and get you out of whatever it is that you don't want to feel, right? Or express. Let's do a quick exercise, and I'm going to walk you through how you can change your emotional state, all right? So what I want you to do is I want you to get into an angry state, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to focus on something that gets you to become angry, gets you to feel angry, whatever it is. It could be the passing of a loved one. It could be a really hard breakup. It could be losing a job. Whatever it is that gets you angry, I want you to feel that. I want you to focus on that, okay? I want you to think of the language that you tell yourself when you're thinking of this, of whatever it is that's getting you angry. What are you saying to yourself? Okay? And then I want you to take notice of your body. Okay? So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and get angry, however it is that whatever it is that you think about, whatever it is that you focus on. Then once you're angry, once you're in that state of anger, and then when you think of something happy, think of the happiest time, one of the happiest times in your life. It could be from when you're a kid, it could be from when you're a teenager, it can be currently, it can be whenever. I want you to really focus on that. Okay? How did that make you feel? Who were you with? Where were you at? What made you happy about it? What made you smile about it? I want you to also think of the language that you were telling yourself as you were happy. Oh man, this is an awesome time. I'm having the best time of my life. I love my family. I always have a good time when I'm with Rick or Julie or whoever it is. Think of the language. I'm so blessed to have these people in my life, whatever that is. And then I want you to think of look at your body language. Okay? Notice maybe your hands are flowing more. You're smiling, your cheekbones are raised, so now you feel happy. Now I want you to go back to feeling angry. Okay? What are you focusing on? What's creating that anger? What thoughts from the past or the present are you thinking of that's making you feel angry? Okay, think of that. Think of the language that you're telling yourself. Why are you angry in that moment? What are you saying to yourself? Are you angry? Are you saying things to someone else? Are you saying things to yourself to get you angry? Is someone else to blame for your anger? Think of what you're saying. Okay? Now, guys, this isn't going to work unless you actually try it. So you got to actually do it, okay? And then I want you guys to think of your physiology. How's your body language? Is it kind of tight now? It's not loose anymore, right? Maybe it's a little more tense. Okay? Now, once you're fully there and you're fully immersed in anger, I then want you to go back to another happy thought. Again, present, past, current, whatever it is. Think of the language that you're telling yourself and look how your body language has changed. You went from being tense to probably being a little more loose, right? You're smiling now. You no longer have that grin on your face. So these three factors, when you understand them, are so powerful in being able to change your emotional state. Taking you from being angry, negative, whatever the state that you don't want to be in, to being something the total opposite. But in order for you to do that, you must be able to change what you tell yourself, what you're saying to yourself. If you're saying negative things to yourself, start saying the opposite, start saying positive. Okay? Repeat positive incantations. What are you focusing on? If you're focusing on negative things that have happened to you or a particular event, that's creating negative thoughts. That's creating negative emotions. You're going back to that time in which you feel, in which you felt. You need to change that and then focus on something positive and change your body language. So one of the key things that I tell my clients is that whenever they are in a particular emotional state that they don't want to be in, I tell them, okay, first thing, let's change your physiology, right? So if you're sitting down, stand up. Go for a jog, go for a run, do workout, exercise, okay? Because when you change your physiology and you're moving up and down, you're walking instead of being stagnant, your body just automatically changes, right? And then you change your focus. So when you go for that walk, what do you think? Think of something positive. When you start to work out, think of something different. And then as you change those two things, then I want you to think about your language. What are you telling yourself? I can do it. I am powerful. I am strong. I am worthy of this relationship. I am worthy of this particular job or creating my own business. I can do it. And the more and more you practice this, the more and more that you utilize this strategy, I guarantee you, anytime that you are in an emotional state that you don't want to be in, you utilize these three influential factors, you're going to get out of it. You're going to change your emotional state for the state that you want to be in, for the better. Okay? But you got to do the work. You got to do the work. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. All right, so as you can see, you have total control over your emotions regardless of the circumstance. And you now also have a strategy that you can utilize to change your emotional state. And as you work towards personal development, I actually created a free PDF, 4 phases to creating the life that you want. It's a 10-page PDF, and this serves as a guide that will help you towards self-development and self-mastery. And you can find that link in the bottom description below. And as always, be sure to check out this next video as you continue building on your mindset. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.